Hello art friends, we're going to be doing a color wheel portrait, and so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write our name on the back of this white paper. We're going to flip it over, and then we're going to put this color wheel on it, but we're not making a wheel. We're just going to mark the divots. Do not trace the wheel. We're just marking the divots so we can get our pies drawn in for where our colors go. So now that I've marked my divots, you can see I did not draw a wheel. I'm going to slice my pizza in half. So I'm going half to half, moving it one divot, half to half, moving it. Now I'm going to the other half, other side of the half. So moving it one divot. Okay, and you can also just go from the center to each divot. You don't have to go all the way across if that's confusing you. Okay, so we're marking out where all the pies are. And I should have 12 spots. Then, once I have these all marked out, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to label each pie with the color from the color wheel. So here we go. Yellow, yellow, orange, orange, red, orange, red, red, violet, violet, blue, violet, blue, blue, green, green, and yellow, green. Now I would write these lightly because I wouldn't want to see them underneath my paint. So the whole thing can be done rather lightly. Okay, now it's time to paint. So I'm going to get a palette of paint, 2 yellows, a red and a blue. I'm going to paint my red or my yellow pie, and then I'm going to add a teeny tiny amount of blue to one of the yellow blobs, and I'm going to paint the yellow green. Just a little bitty bit amount of blue in there. The most common mistake painters make when they're trying to make yellow green is they put too much blue. Just a little dab of blue. Now we're going to put a little bit more blue into the yellow. And we're going to paint the green. Then we're going to put a little bit more blue into the green to get blue-green. It's a nice dark color. There we go. Yes, that's very dark. Then we're going to swish our brush. Swishy, swishy, get it all cleaned out, get all that blue out of there, wipe it on our table paper, add just a teeny tiny amount of red into the yellow, and paint the yellow orange. And it should look kind of like a macaroni and cheese orange. It's a kind of a light color. It's not super orange like a pumpkin. It's just a very light orange. Now we're going to add more red into the yellow. And that's going to give me my pumpkin orange. And then, of course, you guys anticipating know that we're going to add more red into the orange to get our red orange. There's our red orange, and it's going to look pretty red, but when we put a real red beside it, it will definitely look like it has orange in it. So there is our red orange. And now I have to swish my brush out, get all that yellow out of my brush. Now that my brush is clean and I've dried it off a little on my table paper, I'm going to use just pure red. Get that red pie put in. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of blue to the red to make a red violet. It's going to look kind of like a brick red. It's still going to be red, but it's definitely not just red. Then I'm going to add more blue to that red violet. So it's about half red, half blue, and that's going to give me my violet or purple color. Then I'm going to add a little bit of red into my blue, so it's going to be mostly blue. Nope, not quite enough. There we go. Mostly blue, a little bit of red in there, so it's going to be a blue violet. So it's still going to be kind of a purple color, but it's more blue. Then I'm going to swish my brush, get it totally clean, and then I'm going to dip and flip in the blue and paint just the blue. And there we go. Now we have a color wheel ready to have a portrait traced on the back. All right, welcome back. We have a dry color wheel. We have a photo of our profile. And so today we're going to be tracing our profile onto the back of our color wheel. So we're going to get out this stuff called carbon paper, and it has a printed side and it has a black side, and the black side goes where you want it to transfer to. So I'm going to put it on the back of my color wheel. I'm going to put my portrait on the carbon paper, and then I'm going to take a pencil or something hard, and I'm going to just carefully trace around my profile. And as I'm tracing, I'll explain carbon paper. So it was used a long time ago for people who were secretaries, and they would type on these things called typewriters. And they wanted to make copies of what they were typing, but we didn't have copy machines back then. So they would put the carbon paper between two pieces of paper, and they'd put it in the typewriter, and they would type, and then when they got done typing, they would have a carbon copy of what they typed. And so that's where the letters CC on the internet or on your email comes from, carbon copy. So you're sending someone a copy of your email privately. Okay, so now you can see I'm just cutting my portrait, my silhouette, and then once I get this cut, and I'm trying to use the back of my scissors, and I'm trying to cut really good and get all the little details, because it's all the little details that make your silhouette you. So now I'm going to get the glue, and I'm just going to glue around the edges. I don't need it in the middle, just around the edge. And then once I get it glued, I'm going to position it on my black paper, and hopefully you have your name on your black paper already with a white colored pencil. And so I'm going to put this at the bottom, and then I'm going to hold it for about 20 seconds. I'm not pounding it, I'm just pressing it with my hands so that glue starts to stick to the paper. Okay, so now I've got it glued on. My edges are all nice and glued down. Now from the scrap that I have in my negative space, I'm going to pick my favorite color. And so like if my favorite color was orange, well, I've all glued down all my orange, so I can't pick that. So I'm going to pick green. That's my second favorite color. And so I'm going to get the green, and I'm going to just cut it up into a bunch of little strips, and then I'm going to cut those strips into little squares, and then I'll have a bunch of bits that I can glue down in my composition in the negative space. So here I am cutting all of them, and then once I have them cut, then what I'm going to do is just put a few dots of glue down where I'm going to be putting my little bits of favorite color kind of floating around my color wheel, and I'm having them come off the green. I think it looks kind of cool that way because they're, you know, kind of starting where the color starts from the color wheel. So now I'm just going to put them on, and if you get just a little bit of glue on your fingers, it'll help you to pick them up so that you can stick them down. You can kind of make your fingers into little stickers to pick it up with because they're hard to pick up with your chunky little fingers. All right, so you put that all the way around it, and Okay, so to finish, you're going to take your metallic marker. You're going to go over the pie lines in the color wheel. And if you want to make them a little bit thicker, you can. And then you can also outline your head, outline the little bits of color floating around on the outside. And then here are some examples of what other kids have done. They've done stippling in the inside part to more opened up in the outside, and it's just all over the place. So be creative and have fun. Thanks for watching.